bench press?
Mr. John Dowley's here. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. This is our student body president, Patrick McBurney.
As Dominic said, my name is Patrick McBurney, student body president at St. John's University, and we want to welcome Mr. Wyclef Jean to St. John's University. We're happy to have him here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Are you sitting with me?
I'll sit with you.
I'm scared. We'll take questions. No problem.
As you may or may not know, St. John's students have raised a lot of money. They formed a committee for Haiti relief efforts. What is the message that you would like to give to those students that made such a huge impact in terms of Haiti relief?
The message that I want to give the kids is what's very, very important is as these months are going through, it's important that you physically find a way to go to Haiti. You physically have to find, get these little trips together and go on the ground and visit these children. Because beyond money and relief, they physically want to see you. They want to hear you speaking their language. They want to hear you speaking English. And they're going to throw their English back at you. Besides money, the most support that the people of Haiti need is the moral support. And they love the fact that so many people are going down there, and that's giving them a whole lot of character and energy to keep going. So start setting up these little trips. So you physically go, giving money is one thing, but when you actually go and you look into the eyes of a girl that looks just like you, it'll change your life completely and let you know you'll come back after that and you're going to do 50 more fundraisers. You know what I mean?
Question? Yes.
Why is it important to speak to the youth of today? Basically, who's going to become the leaders of tomorrow?
Well, true revolution, whenever it's time, through the course of history, it always starts with the youth, right? Whether if it's a revolution of the arms, whether if it's a revolution of technology, it always starts with the youth. So it's important as we decide that we're going to take Haiti into the 21st century, that the future leaders, which are y'all, understand the magnitude of what y'all are getting into, and for me to make sure that I convey as much information that you might need going and embarking on such a mission. Yes, sir.
Being that you're probably the most famous Haitian in the world, how do you feel about...
Besides Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, both mine.
Famous Haitian alive in the world. How do you feel about being put into this position since the earthquake? And what do you think is the purpose? What is your purpose now moving forward?
Well, I mean, for me, you got to understand my Haitianness. Yeah, I even create my own vocabulary. My Haitianness. If you want to know where someone's heart at, you have to go back to the beginning, right, to understand. So, before the earthquake, I was in Haiti, right? So, my first album came out in 1994. It's an album called Blunted on Reality. Through the whole album, we talk about Haiti. We talk about the stereotypes of how Haitians are being treated. I was basically, my dad left me when I was 1. I was raised with my aunt. I went to school on a donkey. I used to have to go 5 miles to get water, you dig? So when I got to America, my whole mission in life was, I remember leaving that village, and I told them that I would be back. So I ended up in Marlboro Projects in Brooklyn. And growing up, my dad was a minister, but got into trouble in the streets a lot. I had some family members that got shot in the process. But my mom, she took me into a room and she showed me my passport. And she was like, if the police ever catch you, you see this passport? She said, you're not a citizen. You're going to get deported. She said, once you get deported, that village that you made that promise to, you'll never be able to go back to it and help. I mean, that really changed my whole life around. So I wanted to go back to that village. So in going back to that village, it was important. 1996 with the Fugees at the Grammys, I threw on my Haitian flag before the earthquake, let them know what it is. I think really my responsibility is just to keep the awareness and try to raise as much money as I can, for Haiti. You know what I mean? And as you can see at the same time, there's a lot of scrutiny on Yele Haiti, and the scrutiny has to do with a couple of things. I mean, understand, right, that for a rapper, right, to not be going to jail this week, or decide that he ain't gonna shoot nobody up, or call a woman a B or a hoe, he decides that I just want to create a foundation and make it an NGO, and I want to compete with any other big organizations that have been here for 45 to 50, 65 years and just want to make a difference. The level of leadership, it's threatening to some that in 24 hours I can raise $1 million. But we just want people to be clear. The focus for us is Haiti. It's always been, and it always will be. So we want to thank y'all for, holding tight with us and supporting our foundation.
Nicole Connor,
Yeah, I wanted to know what you would say is least publicized about the repercussions of the earthquake and what you want people to know that they don't.
I think what's least publicized is the fact that a lot of people still think that this is just still in Port-au-Prince. You're talking about at least 7 to 8 different cities that are completely toppled to the ground, where it's 80%. You're also talking about